Hello everyone, Braden here coming to you with a comprehensive guide of what on earth is happening at the Walt Disney World Resort right now. How do you even go to the parks in a time like this? There's info coming out left and right. Even Disney's own explanations of what's going on are sort of hard to follow. I'm not sure I can blame them. I'm not sure there even is a way to make it simple how Disney is going to manage to reopen into this new world that we are now a part of. But we are going to attempt to do precisely that right now. So when Walt Disney World begins its phased reopening on July 11th, there are going to be some big changes from how the parks previously operated. The big new additions are required masks, temperature checks, and severely limited park capacity. There are other changes like plexiglass at the checkouts between you and the person checking you out, hand sanitizer stations all over the parks, hand washing stations, things like that. Fireworks, parades, and meet and greets won't be happening until further notice to help with the social distancing. Instead, they're going to have these sort of character parades or sort of impromptu character visits from a distance. But the big one here definitely is that limited park capacity. In a recent earnings call, CEO Bob Chapek disclosed that Shanghai Disney reopened at 30% capacity. So what that means is when Shanghai Disney reopened, only 30% of how many guests are normally allowed in were allowed to enter under these social distancing guidelines. And we expect the parks to reopen in Walt Disney World with very similar limits. This means if Disney were to let everyone just show up to the parks when they reopen on July 11th, people with 30-year-old tickets that are still valid, people with hotel reservations, and annual pass holders that can go whenever would all show up at once, and Disney would have to turn people away. So that's why Disney has just unveiled the Disney Park Pass system. So what this will allow you to do is in advance of your trip, you can go in and reserve a day and a park that you want to visit on that day. If there is availability, Disney will guarantee you entry to the park on the day you selected, and you'll get a confirmation guaranteeing your entry to the park. And because Disney will need exact numbers of how many guests will be in each park each day, you will not be able to jump in between them. So park hopping for now is no more. You cannot go to multiple parks in one day, no matter your ticket that you have. The new reservation system opens at 7 a.m. on June 22nd to guests who had already booked stays at Disney. So people with existing hotel reservations. To start on day one, the system will display reservations through September 26th, 2021, which is pretty shocking because that could mean this system may be in place for over a year. Given when the system opens, they'll be allowing people to reserve parks a year out. So if you already have a hotel reservation starting on June 22nd, the days you have a hotel reservation with a valid theme park admission attached to it will become available for you on the reservation calendar, where you can go in and pick the park days inside of your trip. So on this day, I want to go to the Magic Kingdom. On this day, I want to go to Epcot. Then it gets more complicated because some people stay off property and just have tickets they can use whenever. And of course, you also have annual pass holders, many of whom are promised no blockout dates and in normal times should be able to access the parks whenever they want. On June 26th, the new Disney Park Pass system will open to annual pass holders with no resort stays. For them, the calendar between now and September 2021 will be open. For them, the entire calendar will be open for them to select reservations inside of, since they're not confined to an existing hotel reservation. You might be wondering, so if all annual pass holders can just go in and reserve any day, wouldn't that mean they could just reserve every day for months and then they'd fill up the whole system? The same guests every day would fill up all the parks. No, because Disney has made a solve for that. Annual pass holders without hotel reservations will be able to hold 3 park reservations at any given time. So they cannot book more than 3 days at a time. In theory, this could mean you could reserve a park each day for the first 3 days the parks reopen, and then after each is used, do another day and another day and another day. But Disney might also add further stipulations, as a leaked screenshot from Flutos on the WDW Magic forums of Disneyland's system shows a warning at the bottom with the same rules as Disney's Flex Passport they have out there in Disneyland, basically saying in the fine print, if you miss the reservations that you made, you might be barred for a certain time period from making more. We don't know if Disney's going to implement that at Walt Disney World, but there may need to be some limiting factor for pass holders if they're reserving days and not showing up. Also, you might be asking, if you paid for an annual pass, the parks have been closed, and now they're restricting access, how does all that work, right? You paid for access to the parks every day, and now you're probably not going to be able to go many days. Disney is adding the number of days the parks were closed to the expiration date of all existing annual passes for the closure. Plus, Disney will be adding an additional month after that bonus of those days that the parks were closed expires in October, when those days will be through, those days they added on. Then they're going to add automatically another month on sort of as a credit, or people can partially refund their annual pass. Currently, my annual pass, which I paid in full for a year, still looks to be expiring later this month. But once all this is added, I should be good well into the second half of this year, after which point I can pay to renew. Also, it should be noted, blockout dates for annual pass holders still apply, and if a pass holder has a hotel stay, that 3-day park reservations limit, that restriction for annual pass holders does not apply, and they can reserve parks for however many days their hotel stay is. Now we need to talk about people with no annual pass, no hotel reservations. What if you just have, let's say, a single day ticket in your My Disney Experience app? Starting June 28th, existing ticket holders will be able to make reservations based on the window they have to use that ticket, some of the expiration dates on them, and also how many days you have on that ticket. So if you have a single one-day ticket in your My Disney Experience app, you can reserve one park on one day from when the parks reopen through September 2021. Now, it's very important, if you do have tickets, like physical tickets or something that isn't connected to your My Disney Experience account, connect it, because if you haven't and you don't, you may not be able to go to Walt Disney World the rest of this year. And I am not overstating that, because Disney says starting on June 28th, all guests will be able to purchase new Disney Resort hotel packages and theme park tickets, but they can only make park reservations for arrivals starting in 2021. This means that starting next week, you can buy tickets and hotel reservations, but they're only for 2021 trips. But if you want to go to Disney sometime this year and you don't have your tickets or hotel connected to your My Disney Experience account, Disney says they might start selling 2020 tickets and hotel reservations later this summer, but that'll be based on park availability. So what that means is, to start off, Disney's going to see how full the parks get with the guests with existing tickets, existing hotel reservations, and existing annual passes. And if there is still a good number of park days up for grabs throughout the rest of the year, then they'll open back up sales for tickets and hotels in 2020. Also, if you're worried you might buy a hotel reservation when that reopens next week, and then after you've paid, you go in and you look at the calendar and you see the parks you want to go to are already filled up, that won't be a problem, as you'll be able to check the availability of reservations each park each day before you actually go and lock in your hotel and pay for tickets. So that is precisely what Disney has implemented here in order to reopen the parks in this social distanced world. Is it complicated? Yes. Is it exhausting to talk about? Very much so. But it's better than a free-for-all where you'd pay for stuff, show up, and then be told, hey, sorry, we already reached our super low park capacity. Try another one or come back another day. Can you imagine how infuriating that would be? That would have been an unmitigated disaster. So safe to say, Disney is making the most of what they've got here, even if it seems like really complicated and over the top. In some other reopening related news we just got, some people will be able to check out the parks prior to their reopening dates at the start of next month. Cast members will get to preview the Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom on July 7th and 8th, and annual pass holders will also get the chance to preview those two parks the next 2 days on July 9th and 10th. And then those two parks open to the public the next day on July 11th. Then for the second half of the phased reopening Disney's doing, cast members get the chance to preview Epcot and Hollywood Studios on July 13th and 14th. No previews have been announced for annual pass holders for that one, and those two parks reopen on July 15th. Pass holders will get an email with details on how to get a reservation for the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom previews soon, but Disney says availability will be extremely limited. Personally, I'm expecting to be asleep when they send out the email, so I'm not expecting to go to those, but it would be kind of cool. Also, unlike most previews, cast members, they can invite guests to their cast member previews, but for the pass holder previews, Disney wants to allow in as many pass holders as possible, so there'll be no guests allowed unless they also have valid annual passes. Another thing you must know, this is on the Disney Parks blog, I'm reading it off right now. Disney is no longer going to be offering Magic Bands for free if you make a hotel reservation. So if you're looking at, okay, maybe I do want to go in 2021, next week I might, see what hotels are available, make a reservation, you will not get a complimentary Magic Band as you would have in the past, because what Disney says is they are going to be bringing, as part of a new offering with My Disney Experience, the app, they're going to bring the features of the Magic Band to your smartphone. And because this will be the case, they'll no longer have to give hotel guests a Magic Band for free. So Magic Bands will likely still be available. You'll just have to buy them, but they'll no longer be offered for free. Disney says specifically, with this new offering on the horizon, being able to use the app as your Magic Band, we'll be retiring our complimentary Magic Band distribution to Disney Resort hotel guests for new reservations with arrivals beginning January 1st, 2021. So if you're one of those people who collected a new Magic Band with every single vacation, now you'll actually have to pay for that instead of just getting it for free with your hotel reservation. We'll see what Disney unveils there, but it sounds like the entire way that the Next Gen initiative, as it's called at Disney, or as it was originally called with Disney, with FastPass Plus, which is now something that doesn't exist anymore for the time being, and all these different things, how will it work? Are we no longer going to use RFID in the future? Is it just going to be your smartphone? Is Disney going to sort of be getting rid of, sort of phasing out the Magic Band system? We'll just have to wait and see on that, but that'll be very interesting. I feel like they make a lot of money from all those custom Magic Bands and things like that. I love my Magic Band. It does a Reflections of Earth sound effect. I really hope they keep it. So that concludes the absolute news avalanche Disney brought down on us. I'm sure there'll be some more, so to keep up with all of it, as well as see what Disney's like in this new world, be sure to subscribe, those notifications on, because I will be there covering it, documenting what it's like. This video is very laborious to do because I like to make videos where, we're analyzing photos. What's Disney doing with the Skyliner? Or, we're speculating endlessly about when will Disney ever get new monorails? Exciting stuff like that, stuff that's fun to look forward to. But even like in this case where the subject matter is just a slew of like logistical mumbo jumbo Disney's throwing out there, it's still worth covering because that logistical mumbo jumbo is very important in order to get us back into the parks in this social distancing situation. So then finally we can get back to talking about all the fun stuff. So it's important to understand this stuff. Very excited for us to get back to the magic here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon from the Mickey V's Magic Studio. This is Braden. Have a magical day.